I think it's the place where you can make a huge impact on their lives. Other professionals that they interface with, like doctors, social workers in the community, those people maybe make a once-a-month visit, or the senior goes to the doctor once a month, so they don't really know how a person lives day in and day out. We know how people live. You know, it's a real intimate knowledge.
The work that Eden does is very important because it keeps families housed. In this economy, like, once again, we don't know how the future is going to be unfolding next year. So, you know, getting prepared, getting, let's say, families in low-income housing is right now key. I've seen how many people come into the leasing office asking for applications, and they are homeless. They're living in their cars. And I see kids also there in the car too, so I know that the need is high.
Yeah, well, we service coordinators serve the residents who live at the property, and we try to support them in any way we can with problem solving, offering them services that they can bring into the home to help them live a good quality of life.
Also, they bring a lot of resources into those communities. And also, the other thing that they do when they acquire a new property or a portfolio is that they do a needs assessment, which is very critical in terms of identifying the services that are needed at those properties, because all our properties are very unique, and then identifying what those services are and also developing programming around those services.
Some skills that are really good to have as a resident services coordinator is definitely great communication. It takes a lot of good communication to figure out what your residents need, getting on the phone with them and talking to them. You know, if you feel like your residents aren't reading your flyers or your newsletters or your emails, surveying the population to make sure that you're getting the information back to figure out, you know, maybe why they're not getting the information or why they're not coming to you for resources.
The biggest challenge on my job is the most difficult stories when I hear from residents. And I would say that especially during the COVID, people lost their jobs, they were laid off, and they were not able to pay their rent.
I don't think we often realize what the impact is. Right. And, you know, services and ops are kind of like bread and butter together, right? So you can't have one without the other kind of thing. And so that, for me, the first thing that pops into my head is support. They have to be creative. We're professional problem solvers. I say that all the time, you know, and so I think that that's the one thing that, aside from team player.
I hear different stories, and I kind of sometimes relate myself into that.
I'd say the most rewarding thing about being a resident services coordinator is like watching issues that your residents have resolve in real time. So if someone comes to you and needs a service or a referral for something and you're able to give that to them, and you know, maybe they come back the next week and they were like, hey, like, thank you, like I was able to sort this out, that's like definitely the most rewarding part of the job.
And it's something that's not really talked about, and something that's so great about Eden and their ability to have such beautiful housing that goes against the stigma of low-income housing, and providing such a stable support.
Just to support them in any ways that's possible.
It's just helping them problem solve on a day-to-day basis and be there to say hello to and touch base with, to know that someone's there in the building, on staff, looking after their home. That means a great deal to them. That's the comfort right there.